Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? Yeah, I got me a sweet little girl right here, getting all kinds of pets, some lovins, some huggins and kissings. I know, she just loves getting all that from her mommy. I know, I'm totally her world. I know that. She's like, yeah, mommy, you're my world. I know. She's so precious. She's the most precious little girl of all time. Most definitely. She's my sweet baby. And she knows it. She knows she's my baby. She was so cute last night when I got home from work. I was stopped out to get a little something to help fill a hole. I was eating and watching, getting caught up on all the Matlock episodes. I love that show. It's really good with Kathy Bates. It's really good. I like the original too, and I love how they keep referencing back to the Andy Griffith show. Not the Andy Griffith show, but yeah, the original Matlock series, let's put it that way. So anyway, yeah, I like the little spin that they put on it. It's interesting. Instead of just doing a recreation of the original show, I like how they have a spin on it, basically. So anyway, I was sitting there, I was watching the episodes. I didn't realize that they had more episodes until recently. I hadn't been keeping up with it or anything since the move. And this one here was just running and jumping and playing and chasing something, too, at one point. She even knocked over the space heater. Fortunately, I didn't have it going, but, it has one of those emergency stop things. So, but yeah, she just, look at her. She's just all, oh, mommy, just rub me. I know, but she was just so cute last night. She was all excited. It's like, yep, you get your mommy for 2 days, all weekend. Yep. Get your mommy for all weekend. She's so special. She's my special girl. Don't you know she's my special girl? Just rub me, mommy. And when I got home too, we were having a little petting session, and I noticed that she had a bunch of gunk in her eyes, so I had to clean that out. I know her allergies are not really all that great here. Mom is feeling a hell of a lot better. I know. I was actually talking to this one older couple about everything that happened last night. Wonderful, wonderful couple. They were in looking at vinyl plank flooring, and they were really interested in this one. They just want some time to think about it and everything, especially with how it's not for their home, it's basically for their cabin. I noticed that here a lot of people have cabins, like either in Wisconsin or further up north or what have you. So, which I think is really cool. I love that. But anyway, yeah, I was talking to them about it even, and about how much better I feel here and everything. But yeah, it had a little bit of flare up in my chest. I was trying to move around without my cane a little bit last night, try and do some things, try and leave my cane behind at my desk and so forth. It was a bit tough. It's like, I'm trying, and that's what matters most. So, but yeah, when I got home, heck, at one point, I wound up front. I was taking a couple carts back up front, and they've had some lilies up front, typical Easter lilies. They had hyacinths up there at one point, tulips. They've had some kalanchoes up front, which I know they don't have any aromas that I know of. But last year I remember trying to, and I love the smell of lilies, and they had the orange ones up there. I don't think they were tiger. No, they were tiger lilies. That's right. But anyway, they had tiger lilies up there, and I love tiger lilies. They're my favorites as far as the lilies are concerned. And, okay, hair. Mommy's getting hair all around. Hold on, folks. Okay, there we go. All right, that's better. So, yeah, I went, when I was up front, I seen that they had some tiger lilies. I'm like, oh, I know a year ago, yeah, it was a bit difficult. Actually, the last couple of years have been a bit difficult trying to breathe any of that in, smelling them and so forth, any of the flowers. And I think it was earlier, I don't remember, but anyway, I went over there and I'm like, and I removed my mask and I'm like, I'm going to smell these. Took in a huge, deep breath with smelling them, and no problems. Absolutely no issues. I'm like, this is wonderful. This is awesome. And I couldn't believe it. And you know how aromatic lilies are, especially the white ones. And I breathe them in big and deep as well. No issues. I'm like, oh, excuse me. Wonderful. Absolutely phenomenal. No problems. And I just felt, okay, now I'm getting more hair. Hold on. There we go. But yeah, that was wonderful. And then there was they had brought in some potted plants, some dahlias, geraniums. I don't remember what else. Breathe those in really deep, no issues. I know earlier, I think last week or something like that, they had pansies. Pansies can be a bit of an issue. My mom she loved pansies. Pansies were her favorite flower. And, but yeah, she had issues with them, with her allergies. No issues at all whatsoever for me. No issues with tulips. I mean, I know I could go on and on with the list. But it's just, I mean, even the pine oil that I had Rick go and get me last night, or excuse me, last weekend, no issues. And I was having serious issues with pine oil. And I'm talking about essential oil. And no issues. And heck, even there towards the end, the lavender was even starting to give me issues. So, yeah, phenomenal. No problems. So I love it. That is definitely something that will keep me here. I know she got something on her ear. Here we go. I know. And yes, she is this soft. She's very silky soft. She gets a very good diet. But yeah, anyway, in case anybody was wondering. But yeah, it's just so wonderful. Yeah, and personally, I think it's the fresh air here. You know, out there, we have a lot of issues with smog, living in the bowl, you know, because Vegas is surrounded by mountains, and not getting any rainfall to help wash out all those allergens. So all it does is sit there on the ground, and then the winds kick up, especially with sandstorms, and then, you know, you got all them allergens blowing up into the air, and you just, you know, they can't get up over the mountains, you know. So, yeah, and then, of course, they demolished the Tropicana last year with all that dust and the asbestos and everything. So everything combined, and probably still have crap lingering in that blew in from Cali for the wildfires. And yeah, just everything combined, you know. And then, of course, we get the allergens from Cali, and it all winds up settling there. And with having the breathing difficulties and so forth, and with it not having anywhere to go, it just exacerbated everything. So, but yeah, I'm in hopes that with the court case, I will go back. If I'm subpoenaed, if they want me to go, you know, if they want me to testify, I'll discuss the option of possibly doing the Zoom call. But at the same point, I'm a little scared. I'm a little hesitant because of my health, because I am doing so good here, you know? Yeah, it's like I told them, never in my life did I ever think I'd wind up moving to Minnesota, but here I am, you know? And look how well I'm doing. I've been able to go for my morning walks. I've been able to do my yoga, even though I haven't done it this week, neither of them this week, but, you know, considering what's been going on with my neck and back. Okay. Blah. I know, more hair. But, you know, everything's in bloom out there. The grasses are in bloom. I know that's what's really causing her some issues. Trees are budding. We'll put it that way. So yeah, I mean, things are happening, and I'm around all kinds of allergens and so forth. But you know, I wake up in the mornings feeling a little funky sometimes, not all the time, but it clears up pretty fast. So, and with the storms that we had the other day, humidity really didn't bother me. But then again, you know, it was cooler temperatures. People are just like, oh, wait until it warms up or whatever. To tell you the truth, I kind of wonder if my body's going to remember from the south. And I've noticed that, like, gashes and, you know, scrapes and so forth are healing a lot faster. That could either be the more humid environment, you know, 'cause there is a little bit of heightened humidity count here as opposed to out there. But then again, it could also be that I'm a lot healthier too. So my body's able to heal a lot faster, because there were some things where it was taking me weeks, and I mean weeks, you know, good 6 to 8 weeks for me to, or 6 to 8 weeks later, I'm still, you know, fighting a scab or something, you know, not a scab, but you know what I mean. So, but now things are healing pretty fast, so that's awesome. I love it. I'm noticing that my nails are healing, especially this one. I was having a lot of issues. You know, I'm talking about my fingernails. I was having this issue big time with one of my fingernails. It's doing well. So it's like, okay, yeah. I haven't been really having any issues with that one. So I think all the way around, this was a very good move. And I've been loving the weather. I've really been loving the weather. I'd like to be able to get out. I'm looking forward to maybe getting a car, get out, explore things and so forth. You know, go check out some more of the some natural areas, even though I'm surrounded by nature here. Well, we're all surrounded by nature. I was surrounded by nature out there. We're all surrounded by nature, blah, blah, blah. I get that. No, I'm talking about, you know, go exploring, you know, some parks and wildlife refuges and, you know, things like that. So, hair. I know I need to brush her really good. Grab that one brush from downstairs and give her really good brushing. She's got tons of it in there. So, but yeah, I'm just so much healthier here. So much healthier. And it's not just the stress either. yeah, the stress was playing a huge part in it. But it's just the fact that, being able to breathe again it's been wonderful. Been absolutely wonderful. So, but, yeah, it's been great. So I'm looking forward to us getting our own place. Going to be working towards that. When I got home, I did look up places that, I know, looked up places that sell both the Brooks running shoes and Hoka's. Actually, one of my coworkers, I discovered last night, recently bought a pair of Hoka's, and he really likes them. I'm just not entirely too sure with. They do excuse me, they do have a lot of padding, and it's one of those curved soles as far as the shoe is concerned. So I've tried on shoes like that in the past, didn't like them, so I'm not entirely too sure if that's something that is going to be an option for me. But I do know a friend of mine who raved about Brooks running shoes. Actually, the same friend who had a bad accident at the same time that I came down with what I believe was COVID and caused all my breathing, chest issues. So, and he raved about Brooks running shoes. Excuse me. So, I'm seriously, that's one of the reasons why I am considering those. But I figure I saw that they are sold at DSW, and there's a pair that I saw up on their website that, and they sell them in store too. And I'm thinking maybe on Thursday after I get paid, I don't know if Rick will fill up to, I know Angie has to work that day. I don't know if Rick is going to be going in to surgery again on Wednesday. This is like part 2 of the surgery he had a few weeks back, or a couple of weeks back. So, anywho, basically they're putting in some experimental equipment into his back. So, that's the reason for multiple surgeries. So anyway, and I didn't know about it until the other day. So I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. So either way, I can't do anything on Wednesday. Even though I have Wednesday, Thursday off, I can't do anything on Wednesday because I won't get paid until late Wednesday night. But Thursday, I could see about running out, depending on if he feels okay or not. And of course, it's going to depend on my back and neck as far as me maybe borrowing the truck and going out on my own. So, I don't know. I don't feel comfortable. It's kind of a big honking truck. It's not one of them little ones, like a Ford Ranger or something. We're talking pretty good size pickup truck. It is a short bed, but it is a 4-door. And yeah, it's a bit much for me to handle right now anyway. Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I just don't feel comfortable driving it myself right now with everything that's going on. So we'll see. But I would very much like to be able to go out and get me a pair of shoes. And I have to try them on. I can't just order and then wear them right then and there. Because sometimes, depending on the style of the shoes, I take anywhere between between an 8 and a 9, usually 8.5, but it just kind of really depends on the shoe, and also how the shoe is made, whether it's got good arch supports, because I have very high arches. So yeah, and if I don't have the right shoe, the right fitting shoe, it's just going to hurt my feet, especially my arches. So I got to make sure I have something, especially with, working in a warehouse, basically. I need to make sure I have something. So I want to be able to do that day and also get a little bit extra clothes too. So, because right now I'm wearing a t-shirt up underneath a shirt that I have. Can't wear bras because of my back injury, so I wear a t-shirt up underneath. Yeah, that just kind of helps to hide things so people aren't. And then, of course, I have the apron that I'm wearing above that. So, anywho, okay, looks like she's... Hi, how are yous? I know. She's like, oh, I'm going to lick myself now. I'm a diva. So, anyway. So yeah, I definitely want to see about doing that. Things are going better at work and everything. As far as everything is concerned, I'm weighing, pros and cons of both situations. Whether I've been talking about the last couple of days, whether, with everything, pros and cons with the current work situation, seeing how it goes, remembering everything I went through as an independent contractor, with doing the ride sharing and deliveries, remembering all that, weighing those pros and cons as well. Still, of course, having that keeping that option open in case things don't work out. I am at my 30-day mark now. Congratulations to me, and also to my two fellow classmates. They were both there last night. That was really cool seeing them both. So yeah, that was really awesome. And especially Nora, my one coworker, Nora. She works in another department. But the reason why I mentioned her, she's 17 and already had a hip replacement surgery. Yeah, so with the department that she's working in, it's a lot of lifting and so forth. So I do worry about her a little bit. But she's doing good. She's doing great. She's holding her own. So it's like awesome. I am noticing that with the store, that they do work with people with like disabilities. There's quite a few people, especially like older people, elderly and so forth. They walk with walkers, canes, and so forth. And it's like, okay, I know, of course, back there, yeah, you'd find that and everything. But it was also a lot of bearing down on stress and so forth. So, we'll see. Yeah, like I said, I'm just going with the flow with a lot of things. But I was happy to see her and that she's still hanging in there, still doing it and everything, and she's like a little busy bee, just zzz, all over the place. It's like awesome. I loved it. I love seeing it. She's got good energy. She's got a great personality. And the reason why she's already had hip replacement is she's also a swimmer. She loves swimming, and I think she basically lives in the water. It's like she puts it. She's like a fish out of water. Yeah, that's taken a toll on her hip, so that's why she had hip replacement. So, but anyway, yeah, have all that going on, and also, yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of weighing things, because I'll admit, this week I was like, well, maybe I might want to try and do that Etsy business and this and that and everything. And that logo I came up with as far as, rebranding myself with graphic design, putting it towards the blog and so on and so forth. I'm like, that would be really, really great. Instead of the logo I had come up with for the Etsy store, like that, I would like even that much more. And it was buzzing around in my head. And then I finally got a break to be able to run to the bathroom. And I walk in, and there was a young lady, a fellow associate, coming out of one of the stalls, and she had these notebooks. They were the door was open, and the notebooks were sprawling on the floor, and the one that was on top was a line art sketch, very, very similar to the logo that I came up with. And that hit me hard. And of course I commented it on her, and I was just like, did you draw that, freehand? Did you use, software, like Illustrator or something like that? She was like, no, I drew it myself, freehand. I'm like, it's phenomenal work. And I'm just, seeing it, though, it was just like, because it was buzzing around in my head this last few days. And then seeing it, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to take that as a sign. What that sign is, I'm not entirely too sure. But I'm going to play it out and see what happens. So, then again, it could just be a thing where maybe I encourage her. She's a very young lady, very, very shy and so forth, very timid and everything. I don't know, maybe I'm there to help encourage her, pursue her passion, guide her, maybe help guide her on her path or something. I don't know. But it was really great, the work that she did. So, we'll see. Sweet girl. Real sweet girl. Kind of reminded me of my friend's daughter in some ways. Kind of reminded me of her a little bit. Only Megs is a little bit more open, not so shy. A little bit more of an extrovert than what she was. She was definitely full-on introvert. Let's put it that way. I don't even know what her name was, but I've been seeing her. I saw her periodically last night, and she's also somebody who wears a mask too, which I love seeing. And but she does stalking, so it's like, okay, yeah, that's awesome. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just playing things right now, weighing pros and cons. Of course, one of the biggest pros on the job side are the bennies. And that's a big con on the other side. So what I'm really looking at is, okay, that is my biggest thing. The bennies and the pay. Because for me to pay for all of that out of pocket would be a bit of a pretty penny every single month. And then on top of it, of course, if I, like, for instance, went back driving, I would have to pay for a car rental. So I'd be looking at $400 a week for that. So, okay, according to Uber, with switching cities, they gave basically it was a slider. If you work this amount of hours, this is how much you potentially are going to make based off of other driver recent earnings, the average. And working 40 hours a week, they were saying you could have the potential of making $1,000 a week. It's basically $999. I think it was 50, 60 hours. It was like $1,250 or something like that. Let's say if you work that amount of hours. If you of course, with my situation, I may or may not be able to. And especially with the weather during the winter, so on and so forth. So, of course, that's playing a huge factor for me as well. But if I'm going to have to shell out $400 a week for a car rental, it brings that down quite substantially. Then, I have, so, okay, we're talking $2,400 a month. Well, now I have to also pay for all my bennies. Well, there you go. I'm talking the same bennies that I'm getting right now. So now I'm down into thousands, basically probably around $1,800 a month that I would be netting. Oh, don't forget gas, or either gas or charges, car charges. Right. So here you go. Yeah. If I'm lucky, I might be clearing. That's not going to be enough for rent and utilities, let alone being able to eat and all that sort of stuff. So this is what I'm weighing, okay? I realize I don't have to get all those bennies that I'm paying for right now, but it's a good idea too. Like the short and long-term disability. Heck, the insurance alone, if I end up not getting any tax credits, that can wind up running me in the $350, $400 a month range. Just it really depends on. Would you stop scratching? It just really depends on what I select, and I know I wouldn't be getting as good of insurance as what I have right now. It would only be good for within the state of Nevada. State of Minnesota. If I travel, any place else, it would be considered to be out of network, so it's not as good of insurance. So yeah, there's quite a few things that I'm weighing and so forth. Right now with what I have. As long as I see a doctor, if I travel out of state, is it's someplace that is in network, I'm fine. So, and from what I was reading, I believe that also covers Mexico, so and possibly Canada. I'd have to check into that. So, but seeing how they have stores. Those places, I'm just kind of making an assumption. But I don't know. I'd have to see. But definitely anywhere in the U.S. So, yeah. And then, of course, with the other insurance, if it would be accepted by the Mayo Clinic in case I still need to go and see them, all this sort of stuff. So, yeah, that's what I mean. I'm weighing a lot of things. But with, and the thing that I was thinking, it was more along the lines of at the Etsy store doing that full time or whatever. I could still do that part time, if I wanted to. But, just taking my sewing with me to work, doing that while I'm sitting there working, it's satisfying, It is very satisfying being able to just sit and do that. Because I take an hour off for lunch and eat my lunch, first 30 minutes, and then just sit there and chill for the next 30 minutes. So, and work on my sewing. So, yeah, I do miss this little idjit, who's still preening herself, by the way. I do miss her a lot. I know she misses me a lot. But, we went through that also with work, with doing the ride sharing. Whereas that is a big perk as far as, doing the Etsy store. That could be that is a big perk for me with having her, being able to have her, being able to spend time with her, being able to experience the weather when it happens and so on and so forth, yeah, I can do that there as well, but not like when you're not at work, at a job site, let's put it that way. So, but, yeah, that's something else I'm thinking of. Flexibility and freedom, independence, those are big things for me. So that's something that I'm also taking into consideration as well, So those are big pros for me, as far as the other side is concerned. So, I don't know. But, of course, I'm in no position right now to be going down that path and doing the ride sharing. Going back to that, yeah, my Uber driver I had yesterday, he was bringing up pretty much a lot of the same things. He worked at some place for 30 years and started doing the ride sharing. He's been doing it for 6 years. And absolutely loves it and this and that and everything, and he's only been doing it here and nowhere else. So I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm just, yeah. I'm also, when he was talking, it's like, yeah, I did it for 7 years, but there was a lot of things I did miss, that stability, and that's the thing too, where I'm at, I have the potential for pay raises, bonuses, things like that. It's one of the cons, of course, is the varying work schedule. I know I'm going to be working nights for the most part, either 1 to 10 or 2 to 11, just kind of depends. But, I never know what sort of work schedule I'm going to have. But I do know, for the most part, about a month in advance what sort of schedule I have, so I can make some sort of plans or whatever. And if I go ahead and click that box saying, hey, you know, I want 2 days, can you try and make it 2 days off in a row instead of 1 day and then work again and then have another day off within that 5-day work week? Yeah, I think that would be even better. But I'm just kind of testing it out for right now, because I have that this week and next week with having 2 days off in a row. So, and then the next 2 weeks it's the staggering. So I don't know. See what happens, you know. But yeah, and maybe if I request Sundays off at some point, don't have me work Sundays. Then I don't have to worry about going in early. That's the thing. Either 12 or 11, depending. So I can kind of wreak some havoc on my diabetes too. So, but the nice thing about that, on those days I get out early. Yay! Either 8 or 9. So, kind of back and forth. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, those are the things that I'm going back and forth with everything. So, but, you know, I'm giving it time, you know. Yeah, there's things that I'm not too happy with, but at the same point, there's things that I am happy with. So it just really depends. So we'll see. And I don't know, I could have the opportunity where maybe I could switch departments even, or maybe do cross-training with another department and maybe work a couple of different departments. I know one person, she's kind of like a spot reliever or whatever, and she has that variety where she bounces around the store and everything. I could do that at some point. Or maybe I could switch over to doing stocking or something. I don't know. We'll see. I wouldn't mind being over there in appliances, cabinets, and so forth. That would be fun. Flooring, and see, that's part of my problem with flooring. And it's basically, I have 2 pet peeves, which bothers me with having to sell. I'll be the first to admit it. Carpeting. I can't stand carpeting unless it's a throw rug where you can actually take it and clean it or whatever. But carpeting on the floor, I find it, ugh, I can't stand carpeting on the floor. I prefer hardwood floors, something where I can sweep, you know, I can wash it, you know, mop it, you know, and it looks and feels clean, in other words. I'm not a big fan of laminate. I'm not a big fan of vinyl. I prefer hardwood floors, personally, especially in an old house. Oh, so beautiful. Another thing I absolutely cannot stand, even more so than carpeting, blinds. Those are the most filthy, most disgusting things that were ever created. Carpeting is bad enough. At least with carpeting, you can get a carpet scrubber in there and kind of get it clean. But blinds, I'm sorry. Those things are disgusting. All they do is collect dirt and dust, and you can't clean them. Not properly, anyway. At least with curtains, you can take them down, throw them in the washing machine, throw them outside, let them get some fresh air, or throw them in the dryer, iron them afterwards, throw them back up, you're good to go. And they're clean. You can do that as often as you want. Ugh. I can't stand those filthy, nasty, disgusting things. Just yuck. Yeah, makes no sense to me why people like them so much. But then again, I also see how people live, and it's like, ugh. Then we all wonder why we had a pandemic. Hello, clean your fucking houses. Anyway, excuse me for being, you know, I'm not going to apologize or say excuse me for being a germaphobe or whatever. You know what? If you've been through what I've been through, you would clean your fucking house. That's the way I look at it. But anyway, on that note, so yeah, I really wouldn't mind switching over to another department to sell something that's a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more conducive to my personality. But we'll see. if there's anything that comes available or whatever. I do need to check in with the training room, but I'll wait, a little bit of time, maybe a couple of months, something like that, get a handle on things with this department. But because from what I've been told, if you can handle things in the flooring department, you can handle anything in anywhere else in the store. So get a handle on that first, and then, because there's a lot back there that you have to learn, and then I can maybe see about switching over to something else or whatever. So, but anywho, yeah, that's pretty much everything going on. My train of thought and so forth. I was able to sleep in this morning. That's nice. I do have to go and get some groceries. I hear Rick leaving, so I'm sure he'll be back soon. But I do need to go and get some groceries so I have something to eat. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. I'm coming up on my period too, so that's always a lot of fun. But anywho. Alright, folks. Love you guys. I'll talk to y'all soon. Love you.